Volkmer. You're listening to Goodland's Rocket 102.5 KKCI FM, Goodland, Colby, an NWKS radio station.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. First-degree murder among the charges lodged against a 30-year-old Chicago man stemming from Wednesday night's fatal shootings of two young Israeli embassy staffers outside Washington's Capitol Jewish Museum. Investigators are examining the charred wreckage of a small plane that crashed in a San Diego neighborhood yesterday. At least 3 people on board the plane were killed. A heavy fog blanketed the area at the time. The plane clipped a power line. A week after the jailbreak, the hunt goes on for 5 inmates who escaped from a New Orleans lockup last Friday. 5 other fugitives, also part of the jailbreak, have since been recaptured. 4 people are dead, 1 missing. Record flooding along the east coast of Australia. Watching Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 607 points. NASDAQ futures off 409. More details, srnnews.com.
Hey, I'm Brant, and her name is Sherry.
Hello.
She's a friend of mine whom we were just praying for because of a surgery she just went through.
Yes, and I am very happy about something you actually talk about all the time, which is
Medi-Share.
That is right.
Yeah. So what was your experience like with Medi-Share and the healthcare bills?
Honestly, Brant, seamless. And what a blessing that is when you're already nervous about a health issue, which I was.
Yeah.
Members shared my expenses. There were 0 problems. And let me tell you, having people pray with you when you call in with your need, that is just...
It's refreshing.
Yes, that's what it is.
But I keep telling people love Medi-Share, and they love saving tons of money, too. The typical family can save $500 a month.
I am very thankful for Medi-Share. It is so different, and I mean different in a very, very good way.
It is good different. Call now. They're easy to talk to, and you can get a price within 2 minutes. Call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
Here is the latest news and information that impacts you. I'm Derek White. Governor Laura Kelly visited Grinnell yesterday to survey damage from Sunday's EF3 tornado and reassure residents of continued statewide support. She toured the VFW Hall, met with locals, and joined Gove County Sheriff Sean Mesh for a look at the hardest hit areas. Kelly praised the community's resilience and emphasized that rural towns like Grinnell are the heartbeat of Kansas and that the state will be there to help them rebuild. The former Joaquini Police Chief, Michael Allen Romero, now faces criminal charges following a Kansas Bureau of Investigation probe. Romero is accused of mistreating suspects while on duty, including allegations of battery against 2 men in separate incidents. The charges prompted his removal as chief, and city officials say concerns about Romero's conduct date back months. Trigo County's attorney emphasized that no one is above the law. For more information on this and other stories, visit nwksradio.net.
Rocket 102.5.
Today and tonight, a lee side low forms as a de-amplifying ridge out to the west brings some shower and storm chances later this afternoon and evening. Some of these storms have the potential for severe weather with some isolated supercell development from the north and west, of large hail, damaging winds, and potentially an isolated tornado or 2. Partly cloudy skies will warm temperatures to around 80, breezy south-southeasterly winds of 50 to 25 miles per hour with gusts up to 30 to 35. Tonight, clouds and fog will develop. Winds will shift to a northeast at 5 to 15 miles per hour behind a cold front, and lows will drop into the upper 40s. Tomorrow and Sunday, a trough out west will continue to send waves of energy across the area. East upsloping winds will continue with chances for showers and storms, with some of those being potentially severe. Be much cooler with highs around 60 and lows in the mid to upper 40s. Monday for Memorial Day, chances for rain will continue. This meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Get up to $1,000 off your new device at NextTech Wireless. Already a customer and need to upgrade? You're eligible for up to $1,000 off too. Choose from the latest devices like the iPhone 16 or the Samsung Galaxy S25. And it doesn't stop there. Get a $100 Visa gift card for all new lines. Stop by a location near you today. NextTech Wireless, connecting Kansas.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Spring is in full swing at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Get your lawn and garden looking their best with Ultimate Fertilizer and gear up with Eco blowers and mowers for the season ahead. Tackling a project, they've got a surplus of quality lumber ready for all your building needs. And when the work's done, fire up the fun with their wide selection of grills, smokers, and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Stop by Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your one-stop shop for spring projects, big and small.
Big savings are waiting at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get 25 Chevy Silverado 1500 with 0.9% APR for 60 months plus $3,500 trade-in cash. Or choose a 25 GMC Sierra 1500 Turbo Max, 0.9% APR, or up to over $7,800 off if you own a GMC or Buick. And don't forget, military members get an extra $750 cash allowance. It's happening now at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
May is Beef Month. Hi, this is Jill at the Farmer State Bank of Oakland. We are proud to celebrate the hardworking men and women behind one of our region's most vital industries. We see the early mornings, the long days, and the dedication it takes to raise quality beef, and we say thank you. Your work keeps beef on our tables and our local economy thriving. So here's a special salute to you, our local cattle producers, during Beef Month. The Farmer State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
Where is the best place to go to stream your favorite NWKS radio station? NWKSradio.net. Where should you go to find out what's happening in the area? NWKSradio.net. What's happening with local area sports? NWKSradio.net. Is the weather causing delays or cancellations? NWKSradio.net. Need tickets to the next big NWKS radio event? NWKSradio.net. The place to go to be in the know. NWKSradio.net.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
The region's only local sports talk.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
It's been a long, long time. But the Goodland Cowboys are going to play for a state title.
To the pros.
How about a walk-off grand slam? Touch of all time, Ryan McMahon.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
And good Monday morning, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this, honestly, a very gloomy gray Friday morning. It's one of those mornings where, you wake up and you're starting to wake up, and especially this time of year, and you're starting to kind of come to your senses, and you're like, we got to get up already? The sun's not shining. I think I just want to roll over and go back to bed. Honestly, that's how I felt this morning. Not what had to happen, though. We got to keep rolling. We got another show to do, final show for a couple of days, as we will not be here on Monday for Memorial Day. So, but we got a lot to get to in today's program. We will get to Jake Stout, Goodland High School track and field coach. He'll be joining us, I think, in studio, it sounds like. Yes, he'll be in studio here today. He said we were going to do it through the phone, but he said, I'm up and at him anyway. I'll just pop on by. So he'll be in. We'll Jake Stout. We'll visit with him about regional track for Goodland High School and the 3A regional track meet that happened yesterday down in Scott City for our Area 3A athletes. We'll be visiting with him about that. We will get to plenty of regional track today. If you love track, we're going to talk plenty of regional track. I'm going to try my best. I am prefacing this as best as I can. I'm going to try my best to give as many athletes that qualified for state from our area schools, but I can guarantee I'm going to miss one or two, maybe even more, because once again, it is the top three that qualify. So if you finish top three in the finals of your event, if you finish top three, you automatically qualify. But then it is the next four best throws, attempts, times, whatever you want to be, then and that's across all 4 regionals, so like I said, I can go to, and there's no, as far as I know, and maybe someone else has got better information. Heck, probably Coach Stout probably has more, I guarantee he's got better information, but I don't know where you can go besides just going to all 4 regionals and looking at time stuff. And honestly, I'm not going to, it was a late night last night trying to track down all the results. I'm not going to do that for every single team. So we'll wait and see the final results, but I can at least for sure give you the top 3 and a few other ones that I saw that qualified as well. But I just pretty much look at them like, well, there's 3. So those 3 ladies or those 3 guys have qualified for state track. And then the times things will have to come in a little bit later, and we'll get those more updated next week. But like I said, I don't know if this is the first year or the second year they've done it this way. It hasn't been very long. It used to be a top 4 from each regional made it. So you had to run your best. But now it is the top 3 at each regional plus the next 4 best times across all 4 regionals. So we will get to all the regional results here coming up in just a little bit. Exciting night last night for Kansas baseball. A walk-off come-from-behind win, a game they trailed 6-2 in the 7th and came back and won that game. We'll get some thoughts and look ahead to what's for tonight for KU baseball. Nebraska's baseball season on the line tonight with a humongous game. And how could we forget about the Rockies making more history as they lose yesterday to the Phillies? They were swept in the season series by Philadelphia, people. Swept. They played them 7 times, did not win a single game against the Phillies. Now, the Phillies are good. Not going to take anything away from Philadelphia. They're a good baseball team. But the Rockies make more history. They have the worst 50-game start in Major League Baseball history. The worst. And a few more stats on that coming up in segment 3. So we'll get to that as well. We'll touch on the college football playoff model being altered a little bit later on. And one thing before we get into more regional track results. Yes, last night, OKC in the Western Conference Finals, they get the win over Minnesota. I'm starting to wonder, is it going to be 4 games? Going to be 4? Starting to kind of curious about that. It could be 4 games. Could be 4 games that we see. That Western Conference Final Series is over. Another huge game from the MVP, SGA Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, last night with 38 points to lead the way. So, okay, let's get into, once again, FP Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222. That's number part of the Morning Blitz each and every morning. Would be happy to hear from you. If you got thoughts, comments, corrections, whatever it may be, we'd be happy to take those in here this morning. But let's get into some state track and some results there. Oh, wait, real quickly here. We got a text line coming in. Of course, listener Jared, he's busy here on this Friday. I believe this is it. Let's see here. Wanted to know if we had talked about Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese drama. Indiana won last night. The Sky lost. Clark had 11 points, 4 boards, 6 assists. I don't, was it 11? She had a good number of assists. I know that. 11 points, 4 rebounds, 11 points, 4 boards, 6 assists, and reset. I'm just kind of reading this. Sorry, Jared. It's just kind of, we're trying to read what some person. I don't know how much we're going to discuss on this, Jared, but I will throw a quick bone out here. I've said this before in the program. This is my thought on this whole Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese drama. If you want the truth of the matter is the WNBA is losing money. And it always has been a money pit. It's lost a lot of money, a ton of money over the course of its time. It is pretty much funded by the NBA. The NBA funds the WNBA. And so my point being is that if you want to, this whole Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark thing reminds me of the NBA, the regular NBA, back like when Bird and Magic were getting going, because the NBA was in a bad spot before Magic and Bird. It really was in a bad spot prior to that. And when Magic and Bird came and that rivalry came with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and let's face it, most of it had to do with white versus black. Let's just face it, that's the truth. This Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese thing is almost exactly like that. 2 great players of two different backgrounds, which means 2 different types of fan bases are going to back them, causing intrigue. And so, honestly, I would say that it's going to force that. It says Reese can't play. Look, I'm not saying that she is the best player. I mean, Caitlin Clark is certainly a lot better than Angel Reese has proven. But once again, you can make up a lot of stuff with antics. And my guess is Angel Reese can probably do that. So that's my thought on it. I've always thought it's a neat little rivalry, but honestly, it's probably going to how do I want to say this? It's probably going to help keep the WNBA afloat, is my thought. It's going to help keep the WNBA afloat. So anyway, let's get into some state track or some regional track results from yesterday. We're gonna get cooking on that. Like I said, I am not going to. Of course, I've got issues with my screen here. Give me a second to see if I can get this thing working better. We're not going to go. I tried to go over all of our 14 to 15 area schools from our Northwest Kansas quadrant. I did include Tribune Greeley County in this as well. One overlying factor that I saw going through all the state track, and once again, the fourth spot is up for grabs. It could have been, I don't know, or the next four times or whatever you want to call it. That's all up for grabs, and we'll see about that later on, because I don't have those official who qualified, and I think they're still probably compiling some of that unless you're a coach that went through for your specific team and looked at all the times, and to do that for 14 schools is a ton of work. So we'll worry about that next week. But for the ones that I know are guaranteed that made it, I've either seen that they qualified for state or just because they finished in the top three. We'll start locally. I do know that the Goodland Cowboys had a solid showing once again, led by their two stars. Lincoln Cure qualified in the 110 hurdles, finished in first place with a PR time of 14.20. He finished third in the 300 hurdles, though, with a time of 3:9:09. He's running, a tick slower this year in the 300 hurdles as Lincoln. We'll see if he can get that trimmed down for state. Chayton Goodwin made it in the 100 and the 200. He ran the 111.02, finishing first. He finished second in the 200 with a PR time of 22.08. Congratulations to the ladies. Marie Martin making it in the pole vault. She finished third with a vault of 10 feet. And Libby Cure, your regional champ in the javelin, runs in the family, 119.7, finishing in first place for Libby Cure. And then both relays I saw qualified for Goodland on the boys' side. Boys 4x1 finishing first with a cooking time of 43.21. And the 4x4 team, thank you, Bill, did qualify, making fifth. Once again, that was one of the times I did see, even though they were not in the top three, they did have one of the four other fastest times in 3A to qualify. So the 4x1 and the 4x4 with some cooking times to qualify for state track. We'll have more on Goodland with Coach Jake Stout coming up here in just a little bit. Colby, not as good a day. It's once again, at least when it came to the top three. Jordan Jones with a phenomenal showing in the 300 hurdles. He finished in first with a time of 38.28. That was a PR, and that would have set a state record. It was a unbelievable 300 hurdles from Jordan Jones. He's just got the perfect, I think, body type right now to have that great success in that event. Cora DeGood finished third in the 800 with a PR time of 2:28. She's on her way to state. And the boys 4x400 qualified with a time of 3.27. They finished in fourth ahead of the Goodland Cowboys, so they qualified in the 4x4. Guy Tubbs, I think, from what I saw on social media, qualified in the javelin, even though he finished in seventh there at the regional. He did not have his best day throwing. He was about a whole 10 feet less than what he's kind of been doing as of late. It was a tough day there for Guy, but I still believe he made it. He did not fit. He finished seventh in the standings, but once again, he could have been one of those that got in with a throw length. So, like I said, a couple of qualifiers there for Colby from what I saw. Moving on to Oakley. Jade Beckman making it in the long jump, second with a PR of 17 feet, 9 1/4. And she also qualified in the triple jump, second as well, 35 feet, 6 1/2. Those are both PRs for Jade Beckman. PRs for Alexa Weiser in the long jump and triple jump. They both qualified at the 2A regional in Hill City. Weiser with a third place finish in the long jump, a PR of 17 feet, 4 inches. And then in the triple jump, first with a jump of 36.11. And then Mason Jackson in the discus with a finishing in third place with a throw of 149 feet 11 inches. So those are your qualifiers. Oh, and don't forget the girls 4x400 qualifying in the relay there. The 4:13 was the time. That was 4 seconds faster than they ran last year at state track. So once again, 6 events going from Oakley High School. Hoxie continued to flex, had one of the better showings of a team. The girls finished in first place there at the Hill City Regional, boys finishing in fourth place. Kiara Mader finishing third in the 100-meter hurdles with a time of 16.86. So she's going back to state in that event. Emily Boehner made it in the javelin for the second consecutive year. She finished second at state last year. She threw a PR 138.5 to win the javelin there in Hill City, and then she finished first in the high jump as well with a PR of 5 feet 2 inches in the high jump. So she's going back to state in the javelin and going in the high jump for the first time. Kendall Ballman, who finished 10th in the javelin last year at state, she's going back. She had a really good showing in the javelin as well. And in the girls 4x100, they finished 4th in the finals last year. They're going back with a time of 51.02, winning that Hill City Regional. Some first-time qualifiers for Hoxie. Cameron Gurley in the 100-meter hurdles, finishing first with 15.46, 100-meter dash in third with 13.13, and the 300 hurdles, finishing first with a 48.48. The girls 4x8 qualified as well for Hoxie, third place, 10.28. Michael Hafner qualified as well for the Indians in the 1600 and the 3200. He finished third in the 1600 with a time of 4:39, finished second in the 3200 with a time of 10:33. So once again, Hoxie with a great showing. The girls finishing in first place, winning that regional. Quinter, they've had a great track program for a long time. That other solid showing yesterday. Girls tied for 5th, boys finishing in first. And they qualified 13 events, did Quinter High School yesterday. Addie Hargett went in the javelin a year ago, finishing 9th. She took 3rd at the regionals with a throw of 121.10. Camden Polifka is going back in the 110 hurdles, getting a first place time of 16.08 at regionals, and then going for the first time in 300 hurdles with a time of 42.28. That was a second place finish there. Hans Deaton, a great distance runner. Last year, he qualified in the mile and the 2 mile. This year, he's going in just the mile and the 800. He finished third in the 800, time of 2:02, and in the mile, he finished third as well, 4:40.90. Kendrick Selensky going in the 2 mile for Quinter, 10:37. He finished in second place. Elliot Churchwell also going in the 2 mile. He finished 15th at state last year. He is in first at his regional at the time of 10:34. And the 4x8 girls relay for Quinter, second with a 10:18, and their 4x8 boys finishing second at regionals with a 4x8. Both those were going back to state for the second consecutive year. You've got Cole Worth qualifying in the pole vault for Quinter, first place, 13.6. Braylon Blackwell, 400-meter dash, finishing second with just over a minute. And then Shaylee Ballman making it in the 110 hurdles, finishing in third, time of 15.94. So once again, we're going through regional track results here. Once again, these are the top 3 finishers for sure. I don't know about the next 4 best qualifying times for some schools, so I apologize if we miss one. But we're going to keep rolling here. Wallace County, Kaylee Richardson made it in the pole vault last year, finishing 9th. She was first at her own regional for Wallace County, a vault of 10.6. Pierce Richardson in the pole vault. He was in 8th last year at state. He would jump 12.6 at state last year. He jumped 13 to finish second in the boys pole vault. A lot of first-timers for Wallace County. Kyler Kuhlman finishing first in the 100-meter dash with a time of 15.99. I feel like that time is wrong. I partly apologize. Kemper Binish, second in the 400 with a time of 15.26. He also is going in the long jump, second with a 21.7. Mackenzie Wolf going in the shot and disc for Wallace County, third in the shot and second in the discus. And then Lila Pierce in the discus finishing third. She qualified for state for Wallace County. St. Francis qualified 3 events. Breck Lohr, who went in the mile and the 2 mile last year, is going in the 800 this year. She finished third with a time of 22.27. Avery Jensen going in the 300 hurdles. She finished third at regionals. And Delaney Myers in the javelin finishing second there for St. Francis. So 3 events going. 4 for Rollins County. And Ryan Schromick led the charge, the great running back for the Buffaloes this fall on the gridiron, showcasing his wheels in track. He was 8th in the 100 last year. He's going back this year. He finished 2nd at regionals with a time of 10.94. He's going in the 200 as well. He finished 4th at state last year. He was 3rd in his regionals with 23.15. He made it in the long jump with 21.0 or 21 feet and a half inch. He's going there in the long jump again. And then he is also going in the 4x100 meter relay. They got 2nd last year at state, did Rollins County in that 4x1. They won their regional with a time of 44.82. All right, a few more to get to here real quickly. Golden Plains sending 4 events. Elizabeth Weiner going in the 3,200 meters. She finished 2nd with a time of 12:19. Dylan Wark going in the 1,600. He went in the 800 last year, finishing 4th. He's going in the mile this year. He finished 2nd at regionals, a time of 4:40. Brendan Rath in the triple jump, finishing at 1st. And Josh Rath going in the triple jump as well. He took 2nd place at regionals to qualify. Wheatley Grinnell will send 2 events, both from Olivia Ball. She's going in the high jump and the long jump for the 2nd consecutive year. She high jumped 5.4. She long jumped 16.7 and a quarter. She finished 2nd and 3rd, 2nd in high jump, 3rd in long jump there at regionals. Shylin will send John Sabatka in the javelin for the 2nd consecutive year. He finished 4th or 13th last year at state. He was your regional champ at the 1A track meet in Decatur Community, but 1st place with a 168.6. Weskin and pretty much Carson Wright deserves it. He broke his own school record with a time of 10.9, 400 meter dash. He finished 2nd in regionals. He is going back to state after going, I believe, finishing 10th last year. And then in the 200, he went as well last year. He's going back again. He won that with a time of 22.97. He's also going in the 400 this year with a time of 51.96. So Carson Wright going in 3 events to represent Weskin at the state track meet. And then Decatur Community, Gage Willoughby going in the 100 meter dash, 3rd place, finished with 11.44 at regionals. And then the boys 4x4 finishing in 2nd place with a time of 44.92 going to state. And then you've got Jalen Bandel of Greeley County and Lincoln Schaefer of Greeley County qualifying. Bandel going in the mile run, the girls' mile run, time of 5:31 yesterday, finishing in 2nd. And Lincoln Schaefer winning the 300 hurdles with a time of 41.53. So all in all, I think you've got around 68 different events qualifying that I know of. There's probably a few more out there that I unfortunately just did not get to. So thank you for the texters that have chimed in. Mackenzie Wolf of Wallace County broke the discus record at 32 and at 32.1, which is set in 2019. So congratulations to Mackenzie on setting a record there for Wallace County. But yeah, those are the results, and I was able to track down late last night. Took a while to find the 2A ones. 1A and 3A were much easier to find for a while, but that's what I have. And I'm sure there's a few missing, and I apologize for that, but I just don't know. I'm not going to go through digging every single team and comparing numbers. I'm not a coach like our guest who is waiting patiently in the waiting room outside the studio. So 7:29 Mountain Time. Like I said, a very successful day for regional track and field athletes. 68 different events qualified that we know of for sure. There could be more. That's quite a few less than last year, though. They had 106 qualify for state track last year. So we will see how many more make the cut in the coming days with the times and all that stuff. At least I will find out. Some people that really want to know have already done the math and figured that out. So let's get to a break. When we come back, we're going to get the thoughts from Jake Stout, Goodland track and field coach. The Cowboys and Cowgirls had solid showings, and they're sending multiple athletes to the state track meet. He'll join us in studio next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Friday.
Big savings are waiting at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 25 Chevy Silverado 1500 with 0.9% APR for 60 months plus $3,500 trade-in cash. Or choose a 25 GMC Sierra 1500 Turbo Max, 0.9% APR or up to over $7,800 off if you own a GMC or Buick. And don't forget, military members get an extra $750 cash allowance. It's happening now at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Friday, May 23rd. On the overnights last night, July corn lower 3.5 at 459.5. September down 2 1/4 at 438 3/4. December down 2 1/4 at 451. March corn down 2 3/4 at 465 1/4. July soybeans down 8 on the overnights at 1059.5. August down 7.5 at 1055. September down 7 1/4 at 1039.5. November down 7 1/4 at 1048. Chicago wheat July contract lower 3/4 cents at 543 3/4. September down 1/4 at 560 1/4. December unchanged at 583 1/4. March soft wheat down 1/4 cent at 602 3/4. Kansas City wheat July contract lower 1 1/4 at 538 3/4. September down 1 1/4 at 553 3/4. December down 1 1/4 at 576. March hard wheat down 1 3/4 at 595. On the stock market this morning, the Dow down $540 at 41,385. The S&P down 84 at 5,772. The Nasdaq down 395 at 20,784. Gold higher $61.60 an ounce at $3,356.60. Crude oil down 76 cents a barrel at $60.49. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call, John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Dosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades. Bugs can wreak havoc on post-harvest stored grains. A strong control plan helps stop insects before they start. At Central Life Sciences, we believe in making every kernel count towards your profits. That's why Gravista Insecticide, a grain protectant, features a synergized insecticide with an insect growth regulator. Now available in a convenient quart size, designed for empty bin treatments to help you store smart and make every kernel count. Contact Maya Butler at bugfreegrains.com to learn more.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Spring is in full swing at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware. Get your lawn and garden looking their best with ultimate fertilizer and gear up with Eco blowers and mowers for the season ahead. Tackling a project, they've got a surplus of quality lumber ready for all your building needs. And when the work's done, fire up the fun with their wide selection of grills, smokers, and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Stop by Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, your one-stop shop for spring projects, big and small.
You're tuned in to the Morning Blitz.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
With Ross Volkmer.
I'm a man on a mission.
Well, I don't feel too bad. I haven't gotten too many texts saying, Ross, you're wrong on this or wrong on that. So, like I said, I know I missed some because I didn't go through every single school and compare times from every single regional. I'm visiting with Coach Stout, of course, who's in studio with us. He'll join us in just a second. But, yeah, there were some really fast times across all the different regionals. And so you could see a team finishing in 7th place at the regional, still qualifying for state. So, once again, always the FNB Bank text line open at 785-899-2222. We're going to get to some other news here coming up later on in the program. But we're pleased to be joined now here in studio by Jake Stout. He's the Goodland track and field coach, kind of us. And I don't know, I was surprised. He said, I'm going to be up this morning, so I'll just come on the studio. I was shocked. I'm not going to lie. I thought you'd be sleeping or, you'd just be waking up in time, rubbing the crusties out of your eyes in order to get to us. So thank you for getting up, buddy. Appreciate it.
I was excited about the state trip I got coming up. So woke up, got ready to work.
So, the Cowboys and Cowgirls solid showings yesterday. Once again, the Cowboys and Cowgirls will send Lincoln Cure in the 110s and the 300 hurdles, Chayton Goodwin in the 100 and the 200, Marie Martin in the full pole vault, Libby Cure in the javelin, and the boys 4x1 and 4x4.
Yes.
Am I missing something?
Lincoln Cure is a maybe in the 200. We're going to have to wait
and see on times. That's the thing. We don't. I'm glad that you're in that same boat because
His is actually a little weird because, it says top 3, then next best 4 performances. His best performance was in the prelims. And so he ran slower in the finals. So it's going to be a little bit call Keisha today and see, are you taking the best, fastest times prelims or finals, or are you just taking finals times? So if they take prelims times, we qualified in the 2. And so it's going to be a debate on what do you classify.
That's not in the handbook.
It does not say. I can't find it where it says finals times only. So it might be a point of clarification that they have to clear up for next year.
Is this the first year that they've done it this way with the times
since
for the 4th spot?
Since I've been around in the past, I don't know ancient track and field history. They might have done something similar, but since I've been here, yes.
Because like I said, I just remember the previous few years it's been if you got to finish in the top 4.
Yes.
And I'm sure there were a lot of balking, that went on because, like you had a regional where you ran the 4 other fastest times were in one regional, for example, are pretty darn close. So I get why they did it this way, but it's also, you kind of are just kind of hanging in the balance if you finish in that 4 spot.
Yeah, I like the change. I feel like I've had kids finish 5th at our regionals, and then we go to state and watch them like, you are better than half this field. And so I like the change. We could have even more change in the future with Cessna Stadium going to 9 lanes. Are going to change qualification in order to fill up the track. So it's interesting to see how we handle the future and what's going to be.
And that would be bringing in 18 kids now?
Yeah,
16, so they'd bring 2 more in.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. Certainly. Overall, going into yesterday, how did you feel? From practices and the previous meet or 2 leading in, I know league and things like that. How did you feel about the Cowboys and Cowgirls getting set to go get into the big races? Of course, you're in regionals.
I felt really great. Honestly, what I thought was going to happen at regionals happened. Only really leaving one kid home that I thought had a chance of Rhett and shot put. Our shot put in our regional is absolutely insane. So we're going to go to state, and he threw further than some kids that will be at state. But that's just the way it is. I knew my girls 4x1 had an outside shot. They were running great at practice, ran a PR at the meet, just wasn't enough. But everybody else, man, we look good at practice. Even Coach Mosier working with the relays Tuesday and Wednesday going, oh, man, they look good. He was keeping the same roll of tape for them just because they ran so well with the tape from the markings. He was a little superstitious there. But he did great. It's just everything seemed to work out.
Jake Stout is in studio with us, Goodland High School track coach of the Cowboys and Cowgirls combined, sending 7 events to state track here coming up next week at Cessna Stadium. You just kind of get that feeling as a coach. You're just kind of like, you watch, it's like we're in a good spot. We've done the right things throughout the course of the season to put ourselves in position to have a good day.
Yeah, just sometimes if you've been in it for a while, you just watch a kid at practice run a curve and you go, that's really fast. I don't even need a stopwatch. I'm just watching him go, and I'm just seeing those knees are picking up. He's coming around. He looks relaxed, and I'm going, we look really good right now. And so, and that's how it's been all week at practice. We were really excited.
I want to start with the ladies here. Marie Martin making it in the pole vault, finishing in 3rd place. What a story. I don't know if this Marie has a whole lot of experience in the pole vault throughout her career, but to finish 3rd is pretty darn good showing for Marie Martin, I thought, and to qualify for state. And Libby now going 1st in the javelin. I mean, the runs in the family, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, for Marie, Marie's been vaulting since 7th grade for me. She holds the 8th grade pole vault record. And she should have gone to state every single year. It's been one of those, you're getting 5th or 6th at regionals, and then the top 4 at our regionals is being top 4 at state. So she's been a great vaulter all these years. With the rule change, we were a little relaxed, and then we didn't even need the rule change this year. Let's just go get 3rd and qualify straight up. But no, so this will be her first time getting to go to state. Even though she's deserved to go for multiple years, the heights that she's been jumping would medal almost every single year. So really excited. We can go there. I think she'll be going in seeded 4th or something like that. So she has a really good shot of performing really well. And then, Libby Cure being the 3rd Cure kid to win regionals, because Leighton actually won his senior year. And of course we have Actually, I don't think Lindsay ever won regionals. If I think about it, I think she lost to Reuter and then beat her at state.
Janessa Reuter. Yeah.
So that's something Libby can now hold over Lindsay. Okay. Even though I think,
trust me, everyone's looking for a heads up in that family, in that household.
So now Libby gets to brag, even though Lindsay throws at nationals tomorrow to see if she can be an All-American. But yeah, so that's something Libby can brag about. Honestly, we were sitting there thinking Libby outside shot.
And then goes and gets first.
Goes and gets first. Yeah. With probably 4 great. She didn't throw a PR, but her average, her consistency throwing in the 1-teens was great. We're really excited about it.
Jake Stout is in studio with us talking some track and field from regionals yesterday from Goodland High School. How much better can kids get over the course? Like if you look at like Marie or Libby, how much better can they get in the course of a week? Or is it just more dependent upon conditions and things of that sort?
Conditions, and honestly, a lot of these kids, they put so much stress on getting to state. So once you get to state, you take that burden off their shoulders. Yeah. And there is something to be said about where we're at and going down to Wichita. We go down in elevation. So we are slightly elevated here. So sometimes when we go down there, I feel like we are going to for sure PR because where we're at, we train better.
Fascinating. Relays qualified, boys 4x1, 4x4. That 43.21, that is one fast time in the 4x1 to finish first. I don't know about you, but that just looks fast.
It was. I feel like we can get faster though.
Probably.
I feel like we can run the 42s. I was pretty dang excited. It was actually a really close race. I think Lincoln, when he got it from Jesus, we were sitting 3rd or 2nd, and Lincoln just ran a great last quarter. So that was awesome. It's my first relay since I've been here as a coach to qualify and do it by getting first. We were pretty excited.
It was worth the wait.
It was worth the wait. Yeah. And so we have a really good shot going in the state. I was looking at the times, and we're either going to be 1st, 2nd, or 3rd top seed. Some guys that have ran 42s this year in relays, we ran faster than them yesterday. So we'll see if we can get it figured out.
Yeah. What's the biggest thing in that? Is it all in the exchanges mostly?
Pretty much making sure these kids trust each other, that we don't let off, that we push through the handoff, get as much extension in the handoff as we can get. But yeah, just trusting each other. We're fast. We just got to get the baton around.
And the 4x4 making it as well with time. And that's, once again, let's face it, never had a relay. You get 2. That makes you feel really great.
Yeah, and that was the relay we kind of debated on a lot because we were debating if we run Lincoln Cure in the 200 or we run them in the 4x4. And so I made the move, run them in the 2, and move up Omar Hernandez into the 4x4. And Omar ran out of his mind. Absolutely great. Our 2 middle guys that tend to be our slower runners, man, they ran awesome. And they kept it. We ran under 3:30, which was my whole goal for them. So even with that squad, we're 3 seconds from our school record, one of the best 4x4s in the state.
Jake Stout once again with us in studio. I mean, I can just see it in your face. But you just got to feel such pride knowing that, boy, we really peaked when we needed to at this point in time of the season, and hopefully that trend continues.
Yeah, and I've been, like I said, I've been seeing it at practice, the moods, the personality. Honestly, they've been having fun. And so that's what I've been really trying to push the past couple of days of practice. Have fun. We can be a little goofy. When it's time to run, we buckle down, get serious. But besides that, Omar's hugging everybody. Cato's doing silly stuff. So it's fun.
Of course, let's go to the 2 guys that were there a lot last year, Lincoln and Chayton, both making it in a couple events. We'll start with Chayton. Your thoughts on his performances in the 100 and the 200 to make it?
Ran great. Stayed super relaxed, and you could tell he was having fun. We last meet at a couple meets ago at Colby. I think you were there. You saw his last run in the 4x4.
Oh, my Lord.
Where he ran a 48 split. He was wearing sunglasses at night.
He was.
So we go into regionals, and you're wearing the sunglasses for every race. And so he did. And so having a little bit of fun relaxes him, and he ran great. Truly feel like he's going to run sub 11 at state. His 200 was really close to getting first, chasing down Camden Volkmer, who's a stud. So yeah, really happy with his 1 and 2. He was a bit tired in the 4x4, but we can fix that at state and run even faster.
How come he doesn't run in the open 4?
That's been a back and forth. He has a few points in this year, and he's won a few times, but also sometimes it's just too much and too quick of a turnaround to go from the open 4 to the open 2. Can he do it? Sure. But I think he's too slow in the 200s after it, and I think one of the 200s can be one of his best races.
You're right. I remember seeing him in that relay in the 4x4. I mean, that was cooking time. Holy cow, that was fast. And of course, Lincoln's going to make it in the 110s and the 300 and possibly in the 200. We'll see depending on the ruling on that. Lincoln goes out. Initially I was looking at the times for the prelims, thinking, well, that wasn't very good. And then he put it together when it mattered most. And once he gets a PR in the 110s and in the 300 hurdles, he finishes in third. Jordan Jones ran an unbelievable time, 38.28 for Colby. That was ridiculous. But what'd you see in those two races?
Listen, prelims, it's all about run and relax, making finals, especially with him.
Just make the cut.
Especially because his load, he has so many races, 3 individual events in a relay. It's a lot of running for a big guy. So prelims, stay relaxed. We just need to make finals. Get your lane 4 that you like. And then, in finals, we take the brakes off and go, and he runs a new school record, PR. If he can run that time at state, we get a new state record. As far as the 300 goes, that went as planned. We knew the turnaround between 300 hurdles and 200s was really, really quick, and we were running the 200 final, so it was get third. So I get looking at that, you may think he ran slow. He did. He jogged, and that was the plan. Trying to save some legs for the 200. It didn't work out. We tried. It's just hard for that big dude to get that quick of a turnaround. At state, it's a lot longer turnaround, so we could have made it work there. That's why we're hoping. Can argue a little bit with the 2s and get them in. But 300 hurdles went as planned. But it is fun watching him and the Colby kid go back and forth. Jordan Jones ran an absolutely insane time. So both those boys racing in the 300s at state's going to be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. How much have you seen, or how much have had you, like Lincoln, having to adjust to, once again, his body just being bigger because of, putting on weight for football and all that stuff? And how have you had to try to help him both mentally and physically adjust to that? Because, he's always been the dominant guy, but as he's, gotten bigger, it's harder to clear these things and do things at that size, like you're saying.
Like I said, we dropped high jump last year because we just knew our butt's getting too big. So it's been an adjustment this year. We've had some conversations about, hey, maybe we focus this race instead of the 200, but he still believes he's the dude, which I want that.
Well, that's you want everybody to think that. Yeah.
And so, and him being a senior, he asked me to run the 200 instead of being in the 4x4. And you're the senior. You've done everything I've asked. So let's go run the 2. But it's been hard on him. He's faster this year than he was last year, but his recovery time has taken an impact.
That's tough. The other thing that stands to me before we let you go is just looking at this regional and how good the Scott City 3A regional was. Why is it that the best times and all that stuff are out here where it's the least populated, do you think?
We don't have as many other sports. You get on the eastern side of the state and you got soccer kind of taking up people's attention. And it's just what these kids do. We got nothing but field, so let's go run. But I don't know, dude. It's just, our regional stacked. Once the finals come out on who qualifies, I am going to go back and count how many extra qualifiers were from each regional, and I'll be extremely surprised if it's not our regional by a big margin.
What is the plan for this next week? And then, of course, the schedule to take off and get ready for state.
So we're taking today off, let the kids rest, and then Monday we'll start practicing. Actually, we're going to start practicing early in the morning because at state on Friday, prelims we're running in the morning. So trying to get their systems used to waking up and going at 9-10 a.m. instead of the 3-4 p.m. that they're used to. So we'll be working on that, just waking up, getting going. Hopefully the weather cooperates this week. It's looking a bit sketchy. But that's really it. Stay relaxed. Nothing really too hard. These kids have done the job. Now it's just bring it home.
Well, we wish you the best of luck and safe travels there and back. Should be a lot of fun to see how everybody stacks up when it's all said and done. So we really appreciate you getting up and coming in.
Yeah.
Although you said you didn't get in late.
No, didn't get in late. And like I said, I was just the only thing that kept me up late last night was one of our regionals was going really slow. So stayed up till about 10:30, almost 11, waiting for their results of their 4x4.
I was up later than you. What are you talking? I was up compiling results. I was up later than you compiling results. I don't feel bad for you at all.
No.
It is amazing though, because on our day, you had to run everything. You had to run prelims. You had to run finals and everything. It took forever.
Yep.
And of course, you had the coach timers. You didn't have the time. The timing system is such a huge game changer for track and field. Remember when you had to start at 10 o'clock in the morning for a track meet?
Well, actually, I don't, because I didn't run track in school.
What?
Yeah, it's really weird. You got the head coach.
That you were a track guy too.
I played soccer my entire life, so that was my focus. So it's been an interesting journey going from playing soccer, coaching soccer, and then I've been head coach here for 6 years now.
All right, you get a brag. Highlight of the Jake Stout soccer career.
That'd be my senior year. Actually, we had a tie, so it goes into a shoot off. Except in Oklahoma at that time, we didn't do like you've seen penalty kicks at the Olympics or something like that. Right. We did land runs, which is kind of like the hockey version.
Oh,
where you take
start
off
at midfield
with a ball, dribble in one-on-one with the goalie, and first 5 shooters tied. So now it goes into sudden death. Coach calls me. I missed half the season for a bum knee, and so I limp out there. I go score. We win regional championship. It was a big highlight.
I would say pretty cool. Learn something new every day. That's why we have this show, to learn new things.
Yeah.
And former soccer star Jake Stout, and now Goodland track and field coach. So appreciate it. all that soccer knowledge is paying off, right?
Yeah,
now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Once again, that's Jake Stout here in studio. We'll take a break, come back. We'll wrap things up with our final segment next. Got plenty of the news to get to. This is the Morning Blitz.
At FNB Bank, we know family comes first. Whether you're opening a savings account for your kids, buying a new home, or planning for the future, we're here to help every step of the way. With personalized service and flexible options, we make banking easy for your growing family. FNB Bank, serving families, strengthening communities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Craving something delicious? McDonald's has you covered. From hot, fresh breakfast to juicy burgers and crispy fries, there's something for everyone, any time of day. And don't forget to try our classic McCafe coffee or refreshing McFlurry. Visit us in Colby, Goodland, Burlington, and Lamar for fast, friendly service and the flavors you love. Drive through, dine in, or order ahead on the McDonald's app. We'll have it fresh and ready. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales. Just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
It's game time.
What time is it? Game time!
You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
Thank you again to Coach Jake Stout, Goodland High School track and field coach. Appreciate him coming by and talking to us about some regional track and swapping some stories of the past. So appreciate him coming into the studios today. Congratulations to not just Goodland, but all the qualifiers, whether I named you or not. Once again, I apologize. I did not stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning comparing times and seeing who made it or who didn't. So I do apologize for that. There were, like I said, some regionals were ridiculous, like the Scott City Regional. Some were not. And so we'll just have to wait and see who actually and even Coach Dowd said, we don't know for some of our kids if they're going to make it or not. So we will find out more. But congratulations to the ones who officially made it by not putting things in flux, just by getting top 3 and are for sure going to state. Once again, 68, as I count, I'd probably around 70 as I sit here right now thinking about it, looking at 70 different events qualified for the state track meet here in 2025 from our Northwest Kansas schools. So congratulations to all of those kids out there. Let's get to some final other news and notes here before we get out of here. First and foremost, basketball. Yesterday, Jerome Tang made the announcement that he is bringing in a longtime head coach to be his associate head coach at Kansas State. He's bringing in North Florida, now former North Florida head coach Matthew Driscoll, who was there at 16 seasons at North Florida. But he's coming to Kansas State to coach alongside Coach Tang. There is a connection there from their time together at Baylor. And so those two get together again now in Manhattan to coach basketball. Driscoll called it a no-brainer and cited an opportunity and said that it's great to get a chance to contribute to K-State's rising program. And Tang said about Driscoll that he's a proven program builder and an exceptional teacher of the game. So in the last 2 days, we've seen both KU and K-State add assistant coaches to their programs, one a little bit more known than the other. Nonetheless, to me, this is the typical type of coach addition. This is the typical one. You know, the typical one is a guy like, oh, he was a head coach somewhere at a smaller program. Okay, yeah, he's all right. Not, oh, former great and NBA, coach, like KU does. That's why they're a blue blood program. Speaking of KU, mentioned it off the top of the show. Kansas baseball continues their unbelievable season. A come-from-behind win yesterday. They were down 6-2, and they walk it off, winning 7-6 over Oklahoma State in the quarterfinals of the Big 12 baseball championship down there in Texas. Brady Bollinger's 3-run homer in the 7th tied the game, and then Mike Kazuski's RBI single in the 9th scored Tommy Barth, and the Jayhawks come back and win. This is the stat that's ridiculous. That was the 26th come-from-behind win this season. So that's unbelievable. 26 come-from-behind wins for Coach Fitzgerald, Dan Fitzgerald and his crew. They're 43-14. I mean, they have locked up a 2 seed in a regional, no doubt about it. They are just playing with house money, it seems like. Tonight's going to be a great game. They're taking on TCU in the semifinals at 7:30 Central Time. It ought to be a good one. TCU is a great baseball program, and I'll be very interested to see how the Jayhawks to go up against TCU. The Rockies dropped their 7th straight game. Mentioned right off the top of the show, lose to the Phillies 2-0. Once again, on the game real quickly, Herman Marquez pitched really well, allowed just 1 run over 7 innings, but just got no help from the offense. At home, got no help from the offense, which is ridiculous there at Coors Field. The Rockies left Brenton Doyle stranded on a 1-out triple in the 2nd. It was their best scoring chance early, but they get shut out 2-0. They are swept in the season series by Philadelphia, all 7 games. And the 8-42 mark is the worst 50-game start in modern MLB history. And I got to pull up this stat that I saw from Patrick Saunders. If I still have it somewhere, I don't even know if I do or not. I saw this stat from Patrick Saunders and of the Denver Post. I'm going to see if I can find it. Gosh, that was an unbelievable stat. I thought I marked it, but I didn't. Let's see here. The Rockies with this 8-42 are like let's see here. Patrick Saunders. Colorado is on pace to finish 74 games out of first place, which would shatter the all-time record. Rockies are also on pace to finish 58 games out of 4th place in their own division. This is the quote from Patrick Saunders. They aren't just in the basement. They are tunneling their way to the center of the earth. That, once again, the article that's the quote from Patrick Saunders. And look, it's getting so bad that ESPN started talking about it with Tim Kirchin and about how bad it is. And he said about, it's so bad. The Rockies are so bad that it's actually bad for baseball, how bad that they are. And like we were talking about, I was talking about somebody else the other day. They were just saying, it's not going to do them any good losing all these games. It's not like it's going to help them with their draft or anything like that. It's just going to be an embarrassment. I'm telling you, the record, and a person I was talking to didn't believe this, but I said the record for the worst season in Major League Baseball history is up for grabs. It is going to be tested for the worst season ever. They're on their way. Guess who they play tonight, by the way, at Coors Field? The Yankees. 6:40 Mountain Time, first pitch, KLA. Guess what? The crowd will be big. It'll be a huge crowd. So many fans will come to watch the Yankees. They could care less about this is the reason why Monfort and those guys have got all the money and they're not going to sell the team because they're still making profit. This is a game like this. You've got the worst team in baseball, but the Yankees come to town. I guarantee you'll see more Yankees fans than Rockies fans, and it'll still be a pretty darn good crowd making money there at Coors Field. 6:40 Mountain Time, first pitch. Royals, by the way, off day yesterday. They are in Minnesota tonight. Noah Cameron gets the ball for the Royals. 6:10 Central Time on AM 790 KXXX. So there you go. An update on some other sports. To the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high, deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
So the college football playoff is already altering their model on how it's going to be. So last year, they took the 4 conference champions. They got the 1 through 4, the top 4 seeds and the first round buys. Remember, that was Oregon, Boise State, Arizona State, and Georgia, because they won conference. They were the 3 conference champions. And then, of course, Boise State was the highest ranked non-conference or a non-conference champ, or whatever you want to call that. So, but now they're going to change that. So if the bracket from last year was used in this new format, the top 4 seeds would have been Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and Penn State. And so, for example, Arizona State would have to play Ohio State in the first round. Things would have, Boise State and Indiana would have played. This is probably the right way to go about it. But once again, you are lessening the importance of winning a conference championship. You're continuing to lessen that a little bit more, although it still is highly important because it does guarantee you a spot in the college football playoff, even though it may not be a first round bye. I still like this way a lot better than the previous one. And how about this? I have a question for listeners out there to ponder here over the Memorial Day weekend, I guess. Once again, no show on Monday, back on Tuesday of next week. But I saw the University of Maryland, their commencement speaker at graduation was Kermit the Frog. So think about that. Kermit the Frog gave the commencement speech, which means there was, whoever does Kermit the Frog was under a table talking with his, with his Kermit the Frog Muppet hand, puppet hand, the whole time, making the voice, doing that. Can you imagine? Think about it from the perspective of the kids who are graduating, like, well, Kermit the Frog was my commencement speaker. Is it cool or is it weird? I don't know. And then imagine being the guy who's doing Kermit the Frog and having to do that for the whole speech. It sounds like Kermit the Frog right there. Interesting. Creative, but interesting. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. It's going to be chilly, so weather's not going to be great. We're back again on this upcoming Tuesday. Be well. It's been the Blitz.
KKCI, Goodland, Colby, Burlington, Rocket 102.5.